and Carl sometimes.
Listen in your office, in your car, or even your neighborhood bar.
We're doing it. We're doing it. We're having fun. We're making it happen.
It's fun time.
Open your mouth, close your eyes. We're going to give you a big surprise.
And here it is.
Hello, and yes, welcome to Who Are These Broadcasters? The only show for people who secretly want to hate fuck the world of broadcasting. As always, that's Eric Zane, who I believe the only kind of fucking he ever does is hate fucking. And I'm Christian Bladt. I just hate fucking in general. Eric, how was your Thanksgiving?
We pulled it off. It all went great. I have no complaints, and I've learned long ago to not say too much, because if I say too much about family in this medium, it will come back to screw me right in the butthole.
Being screwed in the butthole is a bad thing in your household. Interesting. We live very different lives, Eric Zane.
Yeah, it depends. I know that might be different in the Blatt household. But,
it might be. We had a great time. We had 2 Thanksgivings and a dim sum in between over the course of 3 days, and I just haven't stopped eating. This is a cry for help, Eric. Somebody stop me.
Yeah, I know it. You gotta mix in a walk or something to kind of like, especially when we get, old as fuck like you and I are. It doesn't take much. It just doesn't take much.
It doesn't.
No.
To start off, before we explain the show, I have to say, as I was putting clips together for this week, I'm really disappointed in America. I mean, hugely disappointed, and not for any of the reasons that anyone in the chat might think. There is nothing happened on Black Friday, and I looked for fist fights. I looked for people camped out in the parking lot. We had so much fun last week. There was nothing. Nobody gives a shit about Black Friday anymore.
Yeah, it's bad when they start it like a month beforehand.
Yeah.
and everybody, who the fuck goes to a mall? When was the last time you ever wandered around a goddamn mall? That is the worst. Waiting in line. Fuck, I can't believe anybody goes.
All I can hope for is that as we get really close to Christmas, people just snap and lose their minds. I got my fingers crossed. I'm just hoping for, organized chaos with minimum bloodshed and maybe only like 1 or 2 fatalities. I don't want anything crazy, but that's on my Christmas list, Santa, if you're watching, and I know you are. In any case, as with every week, I will be sharing some videos. Just disappointed that it's, not people belly flopping on flat screens at Best Buy, but that's all right. And Eric, you'll handle the super chats and remind everybody how super chats work on this show.
Well, the way the super chats work here is whatever you want Christian to say as a side off, leave it in the super chat. We had some references to a short man with a funny mustache from back in the 1940s.
Charlie Chaplin?
Leading a country called Germany. Apparently, Christian is a big fan of that guy after last week's sign off. But that's what you do if you
if you give me enough money in the super chat, I'll pretend that I'm a fan of the jam band Fish. All right, that's how far I'm willing to go for money. Nothing's incredible. Off the table.
That's even more out of bounds than the previous week.
We'll get a lot more mail about that, I think.
Yes. So, and right away, thank you so much to Simon343. Carl, I'm guessing better start pulling his weight on WATP and FKB. Now,
I keep meaning to ask Cardiff. I keep meaning to ask Cardiff to send me the By Brennan drop that he uses, but I don't know if he'll make me pay him each time that we get an FKB. And I'm sorry, what were you going to say, Eric?
Is there still a war going on? Are the podcast wars still continuing? I'm always last to know.
The podcast wars have ramped up, but we do try to keep this at least a semi dabbler free zone. We try to not talk about stuttering John Melendez. But if we get an FKB on the screen, we'll certainly take it. If anybody wants to send an FSJ, we'll certainly take that. And Eric personally will welcome as many FKHs as you can possibly send us. So
I don't even know what half of that shit means, but that's probably the best.
Speaking of KH, Fish is great. I know I can't win with that guy, you know. So
it's like there's some guy impersonating Carl, saying a bunch of weirdo shit.
That's right. The Carl I know only likes cool bands like Ween. He doesn't like Fish as well.
Right.
I don't
we
know.
don't. Yeah,
anyway, we're gonna start like we usually do by visiting the world of local news with who are these local broadcasters?
Others imitate it. We appreciate it.
You know, we're all excited that indoor dining has been back in our lives for a couple of years now. At least here in California, there was a little while where it was December, but we were eating out on patios, with mittens on, and but when you're inside, sometimes it's like, oh, let's sit by the window because it's a nice view. And I don't know, I'm sure you've done this many times, Eric. I know I have. Usually, nothing bad could possibly happen, right? When you're sitting there at the window.
No, unless you're sitting next to that woman in the blue who no doubt is going to eat off your plate.
Oh, yeah, no. Just, hey, can I just have a few of your fries, y'all? The answer is no, ma'am. You cannot. But this is a largely visual clip, but we'll do our best to make sure everybody understands it. Let's see what happens. This might actually be the worst case scenario for indoor dining by a giant picture window.
Diners in a Tennessee restaurant got quite the shock when a deer crashed through the window as they were eating right there. Security cameras footage shows the deer jump through the window as broken glass lands on the customers. The deer then ran through the restaurant.
There he is in the kitchen.
Oh my God!
Waiters and waitresses were moving out of the way.
Going everywhere.
Employees finally opened a back door, which allowed the deer to escape.
He stopped off to get some Jägermeister there, I guess. For the road. But
a tour of the bar. Jesus.
Yeah, obviously. And just for our visual audience, there we go. There he goes right through the window. And there's I don't know. The girl who was sitting by the window, unfortunately, her shoulder got dislocated. She's fine, but she had to go to the hospital. So it's funny because nobody died. That's our motto here on the show.
Sure,
right?
and it's funny because we don't know them. I mean, that's really why it's funny.
Or if only they had gotten the large woman in the blue, I think then just think of how much harder we could laugh.
Yeah, we would have been if the deer would have been harmed if it had struck her. That would have been the end of the story. Jesus.
that would have been the end of the story. So, yeah, I think that's not something that I think is likely to happen, but I bet everybody watching, you might think twice before you dine in at a restaurant and sit by that giant window.
Sure.
We talked recently. You did mention that it seems like every time we do this show, I'm about to head off to Disneyland. And I've gone twice since we've been doing this show. But again, I have two small children. So I feel like I'm going for the right reasons. But recently at the Disneyland resort, this guy went for some slightly different reasons. You can see this man has gotten out of the boat and he's stripped down to his shorts. And now he's just kind of wandering around, interacting on the Small World ride.
Oh my God.
By the way, I just have to point out, I've seen this video without the pixelation there. And just say thank you for not being able to show nudity on this show.
Wow. He's ripped, though. I mean, I'll say that about him. I mean, whatever.
Yeah. No. Look, I mean, Eric Zane says he wouldn't kick him out of bed for eating crackers. I think that's what you're getting at. And look, if I was built like this guy, I probably would hop out of the boat and take a stroll. But let's see some more.
Video shows a man in his underwear walking around the popular attraction It's a Small World. Workers stopped the ride for about an hour as security tried to detain him. At one point, you can see the 26-year-old took off all of his clothes and was wading around in the water near the ride's entrance. Anaheim police eventually responded to the incident to arrest the 26-year-old for indecent exposure.
Jesus,
and being under the influence of a control.
Yeah, they're like taking it easy on him. If he was black, they would have shot him and thrown him in with the puppets there. I mean, that would have been.
Well, there's two things. First, they like put like, I don't know, some kind of like felt blanket over him. As you take a minute and put some clothes on this fucking guy, you know. But also, they said that the ride was closed for an hour, and I don't know. I think if I were there that day, I would insist that they drain all of the water out. They power wash everything. You know what? I'll let them just do it in the rooms that he walked around in. All right. I'd be okay with that. But instead, like, an hour later, everybody was back into It's a Small World after all.
Have you ever been on that ride? You get a real desperate feeling like you've made some bad decisions. And it's like, this is like 3 hours of my life I've wasted.
I've talked about how often I go with my small kids. You think I've ever been on that ride? If I only go once on a trip to Disneyland, I feel like that's a victory. You know, and it's like cute when the kids are little and then they see everything, but then eventually it just turns into a place to take a nap. You know,
big time.
Pirates of the Caribbean. That's the other one where I take a nap because it's nice.
It's awful. Yeah. It's awful. I mean, when we in the 70s, that was like, you know, a big deal. Yeah. But now it's like, Jesus Christ, why are we even bothering?
I don't have the answers to the hard questions, Eric, but I've never thought of, hey, what if I took my clothes off here? You know, I mean, basically I don't think of that anywhere, but I certainly don't think about it at Disneyland. You know, I mean, I don't even want to take my shirt off at the beach. I'm not gonna lie. All right.
Yeah.
and I think that people can thank me.
You would think, though, that somebody who was that fucked up would look more fucked up, you know, like missing a limb, teeth busted out, maybe got mauled by a dog. But I mean, he looked reasonably normal.
You were basically hitting on the guy, so you can see that, you know, he needed to burst out of those clothes that were slowing him down. You know, he's just like, hello, world.
I wouldn't even have wanted to stop the ride. I would have wanted to have seen it.
Yeah, just maybe, let him hang out all day and just
jack him off when you're going by. Who gives a shit?
Hang on a minute, mommy needs a tug. Well, let us know if you've ever seen anything like that at a theme park, or you know what, even the county fair. I feel like county fair, that's more county fair behavior. You know, theme park, you spend so much money. The idea of getting tossed out without getting your like $180 worth is you know, is a little bit upsetting. So our next video comes from Japanese fart enthusiast in the Discord, and this clip did set off a little bit of some controversy, but we're here for the laughs. And personally, I think that this is a funny clip, regardless of what went on behind it, regardless of the veracity, the authenticity of it. But take a look and tell us what you think, Eric.
Oh, I don't care if she's 20. Hell, I'd fuck her. You can't say you wouldn't fuck her. Oh, maybe that's what I'll do when they find her. I'll go and fuck her. Fuck her right in her pussy.
Oh. All right. Well, we definitely apologize for that editing error in that story. We are going to switch gears now to the.
So. Go ahead. Your thoughts, your instant reaction before I tell you what's been going on in the Discord with that clip.
It's like a classic clip, no doubt. It's a few years old.
Yes, this is not a newer clip for sure.
Okay. Yeah. Wow. I mean, I don't really have any. I'm flabbergasted right now. I don't have anything about this. It's remarkable that this fucking happens. How does this take place?
Yeah, exactly. So Kyle, also known as Go Gadget Wang, I hope I didn't just dox you, Kyle, in the Discord. He seems to think it's fake. And it does look like there's an edit there, like that reporter's reacting to something else. It is still a funny clip. And this dummy still said this on camera, even if they faked putting the live bug on there. But I don't really want to know how the sausage is made. We talked about that last week. I just think it's a funny clip. Just let me enjoy it. You know, you don't need to pick it apart.
Yeah, I don't even like film. Yeah, you just suggesting that some people thought it was fake. I didn't think that for a second because it seemed pretty damn straightforward and it was on the up and up.
Yeah, I watched it like 10 times before I started seeing, before Kyle started trying to rain on my parade, you know?
Yeah.
And I stand by the humor behind the clip, you know?
Oh, God.
You know?
That caught me off guard. That was great.
Well, there's a reason why I named this episode I Don't Care If She's 20, because that is my favorite clip that we'll be playing today. Now, that guy's mix-up, though, it makes sense because he doesn't know he's either live or he doesn't think about how he's on camera. There's another clip that, again, this one is not a new clip, but I couldn't look away from this one because of this guy really has a case of the giggles at the most inopportune moment, and honestly, two inopportune moments.
Tiverton police claim that they caught a 23-year-old registered sex offender from New Bedford in a car with a teenage girl.
I mean, to be fair, it is kind of funny at that point. You know, that part is funny. 23-year-old man in car with a teenage girl. All right, she probably wanted to be there. All right, we can chuckle a little. But let's keep going.
In a car with a teenage girl.
Oh, there he is.
Excuse me.
Okay, maybe she didn't want to be there.
All right, they arrested this guy right here, Edwin Perez, and charged him with sexual assault.
Fucking pretending he's coughing.
He said they got a call about a suspicious car with people inside parked.
What the fuck?
Officers allegedly they found the girl. She was there without her parents' knowledge. He is being held on $100,000 bail tonight.
Well, let's move
on. New details on an officer involved in Massachusetts.
Oh no, it's getting worse.
A Lakeville police officer and an off-duty state trooper were forced to shoot at an armed suspect who refused to put down his gun.
So you go from the first story, and that first story, it's bad. It's bad to be laughing during it, but then you get to the police officer shooting, and you're like, now it's even funnier.
What's next? Baby mauled by a pit bull? I mean,
hey, did you sneak ahead on my clip sheet?
Oh no,
no. But the idea that look, I'm sure that's happened to you in front of a microphone in your years of broadcasting. There's times where you shouldn't be laughing, and then that kind of makes it funnier. Usually, somebody else laughing first.
Yes,
it usually starts like that,
but context matters. Nobody knows that. It's almost like it would have been better for the guy who was doing the news there to say, all right, just so you know, I am not laughing at this story or any story. No. This asshole on the other side of the camera is doing this to me.
Right. Yeah, that's true. That's when you throw the co-anchor under the bus. It's like he just cut the worst fart you could ever imagine. That's why I'm laughing. My apologies to the young girl and the family of the fallen police officer.
Oh my God. Simon 343 for another $4.99. Thank you. Says Jared from Subway started and ended his career the same way by getting into smaller pants. All right. I got you. I don't know if that's much of a sign off, but still, I'm glad I was able to read it.
Yeah, no, I'm glad you were able to read it too. And shout out to Jared from Subway. How's he doing?
Oh God.
Still in jail, I would imagine, right? I mean, I don't
do you think there'll ever be a time when Jared gets out of prison? Because we'll actually see that moment happen.
Yes, I think we will. Yeah.
Unless if we die suddenly soon. Yeah, but you know how everybody loves OJ now, it seems?
Oh my gosh, do they ever?
Do you think Jared will ever make a comeback? It'll ever be, he can somehow turn it around and he's hello, Twitter world or whatever the fuck. Probably not. But I'd like to hope that he would.
I've been a holdout and I haven't joined TikTok because I just feel like I'm too old for it. If you told me right now that Jared from Subway had a TikTok, I would definitely sign up, and I want to know what he's up to.
Yeah.
Well, I kind of don't want to know what he's up to, but I feel like we should definitely keep an eye on him.
Right.
Look what happened the last time we didn't pay much attention to him.
Well, it's similar to the guy who shot Ronald Reagan. I think his name was
John
Hinckley.
Yeah, he's got a tremendous music career.
He's super famous now from he can't sing for shit, he can't play for shit, but everybody loves him because it's a train wreck.
He keeps getting his gigs canceled.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's tough to. Yeah. It's easy to book him. It's hard to maintain the booking and actually, let people.
Yeah, they got to do it like Kumia when he goes to a place. The last second he's going to be at the so and so club.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'm glad you mentioned Kumia before we get to our next clip. I want to introduce you to a gentleman named Paul, who I feel His name may be Paul. You'll see as the clip goes on. Paul is responsible for what I would say the best I've ever seen of one of these backseat squad car interviews. He starts off hostile, but let's put it this way. I'd pay to see him open for John Hinckley Jr. If he was warming up the crowd, doing 10 minutes of stand up, sure. I'm there for it.
Did you break into a house? Did you burglarize a house?
Hell no. Bro, get away from the car, bro. I don't want to talk. I want to talk.
We were talking before. You were just talking to these officers.
But I don't want to talk to you, though.
Did you break into a house?
No.
Okay, well, why are you in custody, then?
I don't know.
You don't know? You have no idea why you've been arrested?
No idea, sir. Why you got hair coming out your nose?
Even the reporter has to.
I have hair coming out of my nose.
So there's a little more, but there's the moment, though. There's the breakthrough. He's like he could have had that hard exterior the whole time, but then he's like, "Man, why you got hair coming out of your nose?" And this guy's probably like, "Oh yeah, definitely."
Well, yeah, guy with hair coming out of his nose reacted well. He laughed at that, and that broke it. Now these two are like pals for life.
Yeah, this is basically every Law and Order I've ever watched. You get the guy into the interrogation room, and eventually there's the moment where everything turns, and he's going to tell you everything. Let's see if Paul will fess up to anything.
Nah, I ain't breaking no house, though, man.
You didn't break into any house?
What channel this is?
Channel 2.
Channel 2, as dude. Hey, man. Y'all
want to say anything to your mom or anything like that, or anyone you know?
My bad, Mom. My bad.
If you look for this clip on YouTube, it's called "My Bad Mom." But let's let Paul finish up because this. My understanding is this is the only interview that he's ever conducted, so I want to give him his time.
I'll be home in a couple days.
Oh, all right then.
Were you hurt when you were running away?
I'm a bite, my neck. He tied me in the neck, boy. I'm just bullshit.
Oh.
All right, well, you have a good one there. What's your name?
Paul.
What?
Paul.
Paul, what's your last name, Paul?
I don't know. Yeah, I gave you the first one.
Well, good luck to you.
What's your last name? I don't know. I gave you the first name.
I gave you the first one.
Get the fuck out of here. And, I feel like most people in that situation, they're not going to talk to a reporter. But I give it up to Paul because that was incredibly entertaining. And again, I love Paul now.
I do too. And Paul and that dude could have a podcast. I mean, fucking hey. I mean, I've seen worse things. You and I, for example. I mean, Paul and that guy would have a great podcast.
I think we're at least as good as Paul and that reporter from Channel 2. I'm not going to say we're better because
there's no way. Those two were much entertaining than we have been in 20 weeks of doing this.
I wish you weren't right. I want to be able to tell you that I want to be able to disprove you, but you know who is a talented broadcaster, somebody that we haven't visited with in a long time. I want to remind people of our girl, Julie Baker, who's on the Fox affiliate out there in Colorado Springs.
I like her. I like her.
I know you do. And I want to start off with just a kind of a gentle reminder. Her co-anchor, who's always kind of having some fun at her expense. She makes a revelation that I don't think is going to surprise anyone.
Are you a good dancer?
Who, me?
Yeah.
Oh, I love to dance.
Really? I'm terrible at it.
I can believe that.
It's like watching a...
You
think I'm a bad dancer?
No, he thinks he's funny.
Well, I can just see that.
What is it about me that says bad dancer?
You seem very...
I mean, everything, Julie. We love you, but...
You just let it go, man.
Can you do it one more time?
Just let it go. Let it go.
You made me look like Frankenstein.
Even Val's laughing. See, she knows.
You think I look like a bad dancer?
We don't think we look bad. We can just see.
We know you're a bad dancer.
No, we can just. I can see that if you are. I can understand that. There you go.
Somebody puts fun music in the
background.
background.
What do you think about this? You see these moves on the dance floor? Just go home.
So you're still on board the Julie Baker train, right? Even though she's a bad dancer?
I would eat her ass after dancing.
What about Wall? Because I would like, I don't want to participate, but I would like to be on that dance floor just to be able to watch it.
Yes, without a doubt. She
right.
can do no wrong. I want you to have more clips of her just so I can look at her.
I'm so glad you want to have more clips of her because our next clip showcases how I think everybody loves her. One in Colorado Springs, but also everybody she works with. You'll see as this clip goes on, even the weather girl tries to get on board.
I don't see a sign that says "Don't be drunk and passed out on the Eiffel Tower" posted anywhere. And if there's no sign, you can do it.
Well, when you go and see your girl there,
I'm seeing Taylor Swift. Excuse me, don't call her what's her face.
The breakup queen. When you go to see her in Paris next year, now you know.
That's too cool for Taylor Swift.
Don't have too much to drink on the Eiffel Tower.
Don't tell me what to do, Craig.
It's
only a crime if you get caught.
I'm offering advice.
Or do have too much to drink.
I'm going to see what happens.
And then wake up in the Eiffel. I mean, I could think of worse places.
Yeah, you know what? Yeah, you know.
I like this girl because I think she's making some good points. Whoever the girl on the far right.
But
is.
I want the redhead to whip around and say, "Shut up, bitch! No one's talking to you."
Well, I think that the blonde is going to get a little too familiar in a moment.
You know what? Do it.
You know what? I'll come back and be like, you guys remember that story from last August?
Julie, you don't even need to be drunk. You've got the drug voice down. You just fake it.
I'm sorry. I swear I'm not drunk.
I just wanted to wake up in the Eiffel Tower. Well,
no, I have a southern accent.
What is that?
I just.
Did that sound anything like her? I mean,
No,
look, this is our girl that this weather girl thinks that she can besmirch with a half-assed impression.
Yeah, that was a horrible thing, and she knows it. And I like the thought that this, what's her name, Julie, is hammered.
Yeah.
I think she really is. I think they probably encourage her to get drunk.
I mean, this is the early morning show on the Fox affiliate, so she's probably, in hair and makeup at like 4 a.m. I'm always assuming that Julie has not come home from the night before, that she sleeps at like noon, and I'm going to tease something. You're going to really like the video we have for her next week. Now, I wanted to kind of reset with Julie Baker. We hadn't seen her in a while. If your smitten meter is at 10, it's going to go off the charts when you see what's new with her. So it's a little tease for our Julie Baker fans out there.
Julie and Lucy Tightbox both battling it out for number one in the Eric Zane rankings.
Well, somebody who is battling it out in a completely different arena is, go ahead. Wait, before I have a clunky transition, Mongo right now
says, "Unleash the sweater puppies, Julie. You pig. Here I am. Yeah, you pig. I'll eat her asshole."
Yeah, but leave her covered up. She's a lady because a lady will let me eat her ass. Anyway, it's been a little while since we went over to the talk show world, so let's see what's going on over there.
I said, can you dig it?
I think so.
WATV. Now who are these talk shows? Just who are these talk shows?
Now, when this video caught my eye, it did kind of remind me, Eric, as to, maybe why we haven't gone over to the talk show world. And in a minute, it's definitely been a minute. We've had so much fun. And this clip of Stephen Colbert really jumped up. I did my best to minimize the pain that anyone might feel. But I just grabbed a screenshot for what this bit is called. So the idea is that Stephen is old and he's out of touch with the younger people on his staff. So the joke is him saying this really long phrase, which our visual audience can see on the screen. So yes, this bit is called "That's Yeet, dabbing on fleek, fam." And if I had to guess, a bunch of his equally as old writers came up with that. And the actual younger writers, one of whom we'll see in this bit, was like, no one talks like that. That sounds really stupid. And they're like, yes, that's the point. He's out of touch.
Right.
And, you think back to not that long ago, everybody loved this guy, the 1-2 punch of Jon Stewart on The Daily Show and him on the Colbert Report. And now it's just like, I think I feel bad for him. I mean, we were unimpressed when Stephen Colbert came back from the writer's strike and we featured him on the show.
Yep. Well,
So-
anytime you have a bit like this to me always screams like something that was interesting and fun when we didn't have a million options on our phone for something interesting and fun. And it just it comes off as so difficult to make, diminished returns, juice not worth the squeeze, difficult to watch.
people talk about like, oh, the old days when there were 4 or 5 channels. But let's remember the old days of cable where you had 36 channels. I mean that was it. That was what you were wired for. And even in those days, you could really get away with a lot. I think bits like this worked with Letterman because he never hid his contempt for how much he hated the bits like this. And then eventually, I guess, bits like this didn't end up on his show. And Leno just wanted to be everybody's friend. But Colbert, I think, tries to have fun with this younger writer from his staff who, I'll let you know, gives off some Anne Hathaway vibes. So I don't know how you feel about that. Could be a good thing or a bad thing. But you let me know what you think when he calls upon a younger member of his writing staff to explain some of the girl trends that are out there, because there's about 3 minutes before this where they're talking about girl trends. That was a story in the New York Post, but I wanted to cut right to this younger writer whose name I didn't write down, but let's be honest, she's the one that looks like Anne Hathaway.
First of all, hi, Eliana.
Hey, Steve girl.
Eliana, help me out here. I like to keep up with.
So is it off to a good start for you, Eric? The fact that she called him Steve Girl when she comes on to talk about girl trends?
It's already annoying. It's already annoying. And we all know that all women should only be seen and not heard at any one point in any medium.
Well, look, I don't know if I can agree with that, but there's a reason that they were the ring girls and just held up a card.
Yeah,
and got out of the ring,
don't talk. What the fuck are you doing?
Yeah, think about the Rockettes for a moment. What do they do? Do they sing? Do they act? Do they tell jokes?
Stay in your lane. Stay in your lane.
Well, she's going to try and help Steven get into her lane, and I can't believe we're only 8 seconds in.
With the trends, you know me.
I do.
But these girl trends don't seem like real trends. They feel like one person describing stuff they do and then just saying that's a trend.
Okay, skeptical girl.
Don't do that.
So is it funnier each time she talks to him in that way and calls him a different kind of girl, or does it get more annoying? I'm trying to take your temperature on clips like this, Eric. I want to make sure if you really hate it, I just make sure to get something like this every week.
I hate it, and now my hate is expanded because I hate you for bringing it up. Jesus.
Well, if I told you that it's going to get better, what would your reaction be?
I would be shocked.
Yeah, you would know that I'm lying to you.
Yes.
Trends are totally real, Steve. For example, right now, I'm all in on a hot new carefree persona, and this is real, called Rat Girl.
Okay, what's a rat girl?
I'm so glad you asked because I'm a tell girl. Like one self-described rat girl put it, I chugged a friend's liquor as well as 5 beers. I vomited a little bit. My friend had to drag me into his bed. I am a rat.
Now, that to me sounds like Julie Baker, what she's describing as a rat girl. So I don't see a problem. I don't think it's really a real thing, by the way.
Whether it is or it isn't, we don't know. I mean, I would assume it is since it's like lifted from an article. It's just no one gives a shit. No one knows what the fuck they're talking about.
Yeah, but there's also the simple fact that people do like to lie to reporters.
Yeah. Oh, fuck.
Yeah. There's this famous New York Times article that had all the slang of grunge because they called somebody that worked at Sub Pop Records in like 1992 and they just made up a bunch of bullshit words and the New York Times printed them. So, there's precedence for maybe not everything. So would you like to visit with the rat girl a little bit longer, or would you like to move on? This is up to you, Eric. I'm just choose your own adventure here.
Because everything we've seen so far is not really funny. Like the only people who have laughed have been the people in the studio who are told to actually laugh. Yeah. And I'm trying to see if there's anything that could even pass as a joke,
Well, let's give her one more. Let's give her, let's be the judicious Caesar before we give her the thumbs down. Let's give her one more chance to prove herself.
Please tell me there's such a thing as a rehab girl. Because what you're describing is not a trend. It's just one person having a bad night.
Well, you know what they say, Steve. One person's bad night is another person's trend.
No one says that.
I just did, Steve, and I'm a trend girl.
Wait.
Okay.
I thought you...
All right, that's it.
By the way,
red.
I did have in my notes 110 Eric's breaking point. But anybody who wants to watch more of the trend, I hope that we get a chance, because I will tell you, I am going to search for this bit where he tries to get in touch with the younger writers on his staff. Because
I don't remember him being this retarded on the Colbert Report.
No, it was a cable budget.
Yeah, it was. It was. The guys out in the field doing, talking to idiots at the whatever convention. That was always fucking great.
No, but he's getting a lot more money. He's got a much bigger budget. He's probably got twice as many writers, and the quality is like a quarter as good. I think that's the recipe for how they put together these shows.
That's horrible. I sometimes just an interview is better to watch, get something out of than that. Jesus.
Yeah, no, I mean, I liked when Letterman would like talk to the guy at the deli, Rupert G. Like that would probably be better than like, let's write a bit. Just like see what's going on in the deli,
Yep.
And I'm sure Rupert's still around the corner, and he would love people to come into his deli. He's still waiting for Colbert to come on over. So something to think about. Well, I know what's going to clean the palate right now. Some good old fashioned USDA approved American politics.
A lot of people talking about Christian and Carl's segment.
So what do you think I should do now? Do you think I should pretend that I didn't accidentally hit the wrong one after I hit the right one, and pretend that we'll fix it in post, but it'll really just stay like this?
I wouldn't. Yeah, just you don't even need to say it. Just say, hey, that was a big fuck up, and then pick which one you want to do, politics or newscasters.
Should I isolate this clip and play it on our show next week? Would that be fair? No,
they'll forget. Everybody's gonna forget. It's a fart in the wind.
Well, you know what's gonna clean the palate from that fuck up is some good old-fashioned USDA approved American politics.
A lot of people talking about Christian and Carl's segment, making it great with Who Are These Politics?
You can say a lot of things about Donald Trump, but one of the things that he spent a lot of time focused on was fake news. And fake news in and of itself as a catch-all became something of, it's like a punchline in and of itself, like, oh, fake news. But I mean, just because you turn the spotlight on something doesn't mean that it's automatically funny. I mean, it's true, I mean, there's a reason why we talk about it, and you can pick your media outlet and you can say which one they're making up the fake news about. But I saw some actual fake news, and as it relates to the former president, Donald Trump, you see this Newsweek headline there, Eric. Why don't you read it for the people at home?
Donald Trump greeted by loud boos at South Carolina football game from November 25th.
And we have been very upfront on this show about how when something bad is happening to a politician, I don't care what party they're in. If it's a funny clip, I want to play it. So you better believe I looked for clips of Donald Trump getting booed by fans at a South Carolina football game, because to me, if that's true, wow, that's really saying something. And I don't want to spend too much time on the soapbox, but I think it does prove the point for media, and the reason why I couldn't find TV stories talking about this, because if they did play a clip, it would have sounded more like this. Really loud.
There he is.
And I'll admit,
if anything, it's just a buzz. It's not really. It's not. It's not either. It's not an ovation, and it's not booing for sure.
No. It's not. There are boos, so they're trying to say, well, we're not lying. There are people booing, but it's not a chorus of boos, which I love that sound, and we didn't get it. And you know, I did look for a few versions of this clip because the one I'm playing is from Marjorie Taylor Greene's Twitter account. So I thought that, all right, well, you know what, maybe this one's not on the up and up, but then it's the same clip everywhere when you look for it. So they were very happy. There was a post of a link that said like, oh, even University of Southern Carolina's band was booing him. There's one guy with his thumb down. so it's like, again, we're not lying, but it's also not really the truth. So I know that there aren't really jokes here, and that's what we should be presenting on the show. But it was so glaring, and I'm so disappointed that there wasn't a stadium booing. You know, if you can find me a stadium booing Joe Biden, Donald Trump, I don't care. I'd love to see it.
I think, to be fair, we should point out that there probably was one of the Carolina fans holding up a black guy in effigy hanging. So that might have been what they were cheering for in the first place. So we can't really tell. Sorry, terrible. I know.
Look, it's you never know what they were booing, I guess is what you were saying. You know, it's a very diverse crowd. Well, I've got a little bit more of a fun clip. I believe this one's from C-SPAN, where, you know, all the good clips come from. And this is Jerome Powell, who has the perfect solution when a group of protesters try to mess up the hearing that he's presiding over.
Of course.
Jerome Powell, by refusing to treat climate change like a systemic risk that
Thank you.
you are putting us at
Thank you very much.
Keep listening.
Yes, thank you very much.
Yep.
Thank you. Just close the fucking door.
It's that simple. Just close the fucking door. I mean, how many times have we seen stuff, you know, broken up by angry protesters? Yeah, just close the fucking door.
God, I like how they cut to the graphic. It looks
like
it looks like something out of The Simpsons, man.
Yeah, I mean, it's not their first rodeo. You know, they're like, oh boy, what's going to happen? You know, is the naked guy from Disneyland going to show up and try and walk around? My next clip is one that I think people would make the point by watching it that there are more important things to complain about. But Congressman John Rose from Tennessee feels as though this is the most important thing to address about the Interior Department and EPA spending, which, boy, that sounds like a sexy clip when you say it out loud. But I'm on his side because I think this is important. Let me know what you think. Eric Zane.
Mr. Chair, we have to ask, why is the Department of Interior rushing to ban plastic straws in national parks when it is far from clear whether or not there is any environmental benefit to switching to paper straws? Additionally, paper straws are absolutely despised by many Americans because they start to become soggy almost immediately when you put them into a drink. I think probably, Mr. Chairman, Mr. Speaker, most Americans have experienced exactly that.
So my point is, instead of complaining, Eric, about like, oh my God, in Washington, the stuff that they worry about, the stuff that they're not getting done, let's just focus on the stuff we can fix. Yeah, you know what? Can we not have paper straws in the national parks? Yeah, I mean, I guess we can.
Oh God, you know, who the fuck comes up with it? Who actually comes up with to propose this, to have the nerve to write it down and put it through a committee?
We just saw his name's John Rose.
Oh, Jesus.
But what I would like to see are the original notes for his speech where, you know, one of his aides circled the word damp and we're like, no, say soggy, because we want to actually help people visualize a soggy straw. And I don't know. I feel like the chat's on my side and paper straws suck.
No,
but maybe you don't. Maybe you don't have them in Michigan. Maybe that's the issue.
I'm with you. You know, I think it's fucking ridiculous that we would even have this discussion. I don't give a shit what the hell the plastic straw does. I need to drink now.
Yeah. I've heard comedian Jim Norton talk about this a few times, and they say that the plastic straws end up, you know, in the noses of turtles, and he's said, "Fuck the turtles," and I'm like, yes, exactly. What do I care about turtles? You know. Anyway. I've been sitting on that clip for a while and I love it so much that I didn't care. What does Chad's missing upper lip have to say, Eric?
I don't know. I'm not firing on all cylinders today, apparently.
Hot take on straws, Eric. No, but look, if anybody is going to agree with me, it's Chad's missing upper lip. Fuck the turtles. I'm borrowing that platform from Jim Norton. So, Eric, are you aware of who ended up the contest for Speaker of the House? I don't want to put you on the spot, but
yes, is it someone from Louisiana named something Anderson?
Mike Johnson. I'm going to give you partial credit because you knew what state he was from. Yeah. So this clip, when he first ascended to the throne of Speaker, this was a clip that some of you may have heard, but I have really wanted to take some time with this on this show. This is before he's Speaker. He's talking about, this is at a faith-based convention, which is important. He's talking about a product that I don't know if he was an investor in. It sounds like he was. He definitely supports it. I believe at one point he says he's not involved in the product, which convinces me, of course, regardless of whether there's a D or an R next to the name. Somebody's like, I'm not making any money off of this. I'm like, all right, so he's making some money off of this.
Okay.
But I want you to give a solid listen to how this product really helps Mike Johnson and his son keep tabs on each other's internet usage.
That's real simply is it has an algorithm and software. It's way above my head how it works, but it scans. You obviously opt into it, but it scans all the activity on your phone or your devices, your laptop, tablet, what have you. We do all of it, and then it sends a report to your accountability partner. So my accountability partner right now is Jack, my son, right? And so he's 17. So he and I get a report of all the things that are on our phones or all of our devices once a week. If anything objectionable comes up, your accountability partner gets an immediate notice. I'm proud to tell you my son he's got a clean slate, all right? Yeah. But we get a report and it says, hey, no activity of concern, and it's really, really sensitive. It'll pick up almost anything. It looks for keywords, search terms, and also images, and it will send your accountability partner a blurred picture of the image.
So what do you think is more horrifying, being a 17-year-old boy and knowing that your dad is keeping tabs on what you look at on the internet, or being a 17-year-old boy and getting an update for what your dad, who's, his 40s or 50s, whatever.
Right.
I can't figure out which one's worse. They're both terrible. This is such an awful product.
That's terrible. And then the idea that this is a good thing is so obscene and so terrible. Yeah. I was at this point with my kids because, especially my son, where, there came a time when you like, should I be policing? And then I said, fuck that shit. I mean, fucking A, I'm going to ruin it for him, first of all. Second of all, I don't want to know. I would rather just roll the dice that he's not going to become a serial killer and than the option of me finding out that he's pounding his pud to like a couple chicks from Brazil blowing a horse.
Yeah. It's like you want to, it's definitely don't ask, don't tell. And he should know not to bring up, hey, Dad, have you ever seen Two Girls, One Cup? Because then it's like, oh, then now I have to have that conversation with you about how it's probably not real shit, and I don't want to have that conversation. My son's only 8, so I've got all this ahead of me, and I think about that. And I would like to, I agree with you, Eric. I would err on the side of, he'll figure it out. And, access to porn now, it's so much safer than when we were kids. Like, finding, a damp or soggy copy of Hustler in the woods that you don't really know. You hope it just got rained on. And I got to bring this home,
Fucking hey, yeah. I was always like, you know what? I'll just let him figure it out. I was okay. I figured it out. He's going to figure it out. This is disgusting.
Well, let's see what kind of reports the speaker gets on his son.
And so on occasion, I get one. I was just looking at the one from this week. I got on Jack, and it said, this is the only one that may be questionable, and it's this blurred image of two women talking in a live screen thing, and I zoom in, and I have to unblur it. And it's two middle-aged teachers.
And of course, they're pissing on each other. And because it's golden showers and not a brown shower, he's like, yeah, that's fine. No problem. That's just the way the Lord intended it.
This guy, wow, that is, I just don't want to live in that world. Who the fuck would? That is ridiculous.
It is, but it's very funny to think about the idea of, it's almost like I feel like if my dad were keeping tabs, I'm probably going to watch like 3 times as much porn.
Yeah. Did you ever find like porno that your parents had? Like,
yes.
Okay. So it's one thing to find it in the woods, but you're actually finding a tape.
Well, no. So, okay. So it wasn't, a photo of it wasn't a video of my parents. It wasn't,
Right.
even, it was magazines. And for some reason, my dad had in his sock drawer, it was an audio cassette. It wasn't, it was like professionally produced. It was like audio porn. And I like copied it on my tape deck because I thought it would be funny to put between songs when I made them for my friends. It was like, it was like things like, quit playing with the head and suck the cock, you cock-sucking bitch. It was really badly written. I'm not going to lie. So it made it that much funnier. And honestly, I hadn't thought about it in like 30 plus years until you just asked me.
Jesus Christ. I found an actual movie, not that my dad was in, but that he watched. And I found it. And then years later, I mentioned it on the radio. This is like 30 years later, I mentioned it. And he found out that I talked about it. And holy fuck, he kicked my ass. He was so pissed off. I think actually he was on the phone with me because I had him on the air for something stupid. And then I mentioned that. And man, he was so embarrassed. And I thought he was going to disown me.
Was it, by any chance, was the video Mr. Hands? Or was it something different?
That's the one with the horse, right? Yeah.
Oh, yes, it is the one with the horse.
Oh, no.
That's right. I don't want to know that much about your dad.
All right.
This was a late addition to the show. It's been a while since we checked in with Peter Ducey, and whenever we play these clips, it's always worth reminding that the interaction between that one reporter in the White House briefing room and that one press secretary, I didn't care about the politics between these people. The funniest part is the questions that Peter Ducey always asks, but watching Catherine Jean-Pierre, I believe her first name's Catherine, watching her respond, it's why people go to NASCAR, because they hope there's going to be a crash. It's why, you watch the, people walking on the tightrope. You want somebody to fall off the tightrope. And that's why I like to watch clips of Peter Ducey asking these questions. And I mention it every time when Jake Tapper used to ask questions of President Obama or whoever the Democratic press secretary was. It was also just as funny. It doesn't really matter who the politics are. I think, Trump was able to kind of shrug off anything. So the clips weren't as fun. But this is a lady who I think can't wait for the holiday break to start.
On lowering prices, you said earlier that the actions the president has taken have worked. So is it your sense that when people were home for Thanksgiving, catching up with their family members, they were saying to each other, can you believe how much more affordable things have gotten?
So before we get to her answer, I mean, the mastery of how he asked the questions, Peter Ducey with the straight face. I mean, our visual audience can see there is that little bit of a smirk on the side of his mouth, and it's in his eyes. He's like, oh, I know the answer to this question. I'm just going to make you tap dance while we try and get it. And, it goes on for a minute and a half. I'm just going to play a little of it.
Okay.
So honestly, I wouldn't, I hear the question, but I want to.
You think she, more than anything, just wants to get a cigarette right now?
Yeah.
So she can just take a drag and be like,
that's all she wants to do is smoke. Tell this guy to shut the fuck up, leave, quit.
Yeah. All right, Pete, let's see what the answer is. It's like, I'm here to endorse the policies of this guy who, I'm probably not that much of a fan of.
Make sure this is very.
Go ahead. Sorry.
What exactly was his question, though?
His question is, to her point, that the economy is improving, and I'll tell you, I'll jump right to it. He asked
Why do you
again.
think it is that when you say the economy is improving and President Biden says the economy is improving, that a majority of Americans outside of this building are not buying it?
So here's the thing. When we walked into this administration, the economy was on a tailspin. That is the fact. Because of the last administration, because of the Trump administration.
So she answers for about a minute there, and then
Almost
DC
3
is
years
gonna.
in office. Inflation is up over 17% since President Biden came here. That's still Trump's fault.
Inflation is moderating because of the actions that this president has taken.
So he's like, all right, so you've been president for 3 years, so it's still Trump's fault. And again, you get a feel for the flavor of her answers. It's
Right.
all a lot of like, oh fuck, come on.
Yep,
Just
yep.
let me get to the end here. Well, Square, we forgot to mention that if Eric thinks one of your chats, your non-super chats, is funny, it will go up on the screen.
It's Square wrote, definitely sporting a massive bush is whatever her name is. Something Jason Pierre Paul.
KJP, they call her on Twitter. And I mean, I could watch those all day. I know her answers are long and very boring, but just the way that he's like, so you've been here for 3 years, and so it's still Trump's fault. And she's going to give I feel like they do this dance all the time, though. It's basically a lot of like, why is this thing that you say better, not better? I don't know. Trump, right? That's the answer. No, it's not Trump. Oh, fuck. All right. Who else? So anyway, we are going to dive into the worlds of sports broadcasting right now with some international flair.
Home of the hourly triple play.
WATB, who are these sportscasters? Just listen and find out who are these sportscasters.
And this was a clip that I actually found on the Twitter of our buddy Hackride, who I'm going to let you know right now. Sorry to disappoint, Eric. Hackride was unavailable to produce a video for us this week. But we are making plans to have him join us live on the show in the near future.
Oh,
because you've still never met him. You've only commented on his work.
Yes. We had a couple exchanges on Twitter.
Yeah, you guys are definitely getting along really well, I think.
Oh, it's wonderful. It's because he's so funny.
Look, I hear no lies there. I'm a big Hackride fan, and this was on his Twitter, so I want to make sure that he gets the credit for the fact that I saw this. And this is a Colombian soccer game, and it is one of those moments where you realize that sometimes stereotypes exist for a reason. So remember, this is a Colombian soccer game, and this lady is dipping right into the booger sugar right there on camera. Wow. And I believe that there is a cocaine concession in the stadium. I'm pretty sure that she just went right there,
Shit. It's like she's popping a mint.
Yeah,
it's so casual. I guess. Well, what the hell? When in Rome.
I mean, yeah, when in Rome, when in Bogota. Wait, I don't know the fucking
Medellin.
Yeah, there you go, Medellin. There you go. See, together we were able to come up with a good punchline. And again, because there's so much criticism from our international audience about the number of American sports clips that we play. Right. I went to this one from the Reverend Sheetstain, who I believe is currently Robo Shitstain Mark 9000, and I appreciate it. I'm going to tell you that I feel like we could probably watch this for the rest of the show, but for the sake of our audio audience, we'll do our best to describe it. This is a league. I refer to it as the Fat Bottom Girl League.
Wow, fat girl soccer.
Did you notice my favorite part? And the Reverend Sheetstain posted over 2 minutes of this. Just watch this girl try to kick, and she misses.
Oh god damn! Can you imagine how the recruiting of this was like fat bitches only? I mean, they actually have to say you have to be a fat chick to be in our league. And what's that one doing there? She's not that fat.
She's probably the referee, if I had to guess.
Yeah, probably.
One in the pale blue shirt. And then look, this one always misses. It's too bad the great Patrice O'Neill is no longer with us, because I think we found a great activity that he would have excelled at.
Oh,
and, the girl does the splits.
You did the splits. Jesus fuck! Was that on purpose?
I'm gonna have to say no. When you're that size, it's never on purpose. When you do
There's no way she has an intact ligament.
No. So when people complain about all of our American clips, just know that that's what's out there. I want to thank both Hackride and Reverend Shitstain for providing us with such great content. And Eric, I'm going to go ahead and send you the full 2.5-minute video of the Fat Bottom Girls Soccer
Thank
League.
you for that. God, that is wonderful. Where did you say that was out of again, or didn't you?
I actually don't know. I just it was just basically left in our dead drop box by Reverend Shitstain. No questions are ever asked, and we always happily accept them. But
all right,
there was no identifying information there. So we are going to go to American sports now, and one of the biggest names, huge superstar. I don't think we've ever had a clip from LeBron James on this show before. And I don't care what you think about LeBron James. When he gets to say the word shit twice on TNT, I'm going to pull the clip and I'm going to happily play the clip. He's talking about the criticism of his teammate Anthony Davis.
There was also a lot of criticism of Anthony Davis in that second half on Tuesday night. What can you say about his performance tonight in Game 2 to get your first win?
We don't give a shit about criticism about AD. We don't care. Nothing bothers us. Nothing. We don't. AD
what an
care.
asshole!
I don't know if guys have figured that out. AD does not care. He's not on social media, so he doesn't see none of the crap. He rarely talks unless it's us. So we don't give a shit about it. And he definitely doesn't. Just go out and do his job.
So the one time he thinks to say crap, but the other times he's like, yeah, we don't give a shit.
Yeah, and look at that ridiculous beard. What the fuck?
You're talking about LeBron, or
LeBron?
There's a lot of facial hair on this team.
I mean, the other guys, it looks okay. He looks like a fucking, I don't know what that is. That's just horrible.
It's basically he's trying to be the roadie for Mumford and Sons, I think is what he's going for with that beard. That clip came from a national broadcast on TNT. And so from the same broadcast, they decided to call out. Oh, we've got a super chat though. So before
we don't. It's just Chad saying Ninja Amish, which takes us back a few weeks. If you know that reference, thank you.
If you know that reference, you know where we're going. And what's the clip we've got? The quote we've got.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to hit that one, but this is goddamn Amish, says the Wired Christian. Okay, well done.
So the TNT broadcast booth seems that they really zero in on a fan here in Los Angeles, and I don't know. I don't see anything out of the ordinary for the way he's dressed. This is how most of us dress in LA when we go out to anything, let alone sit courtside at a Laker game.
What? Hey, this is Hollywood, man. This is Hollywood.
So he's got like a Darth Vader helmet on.
Yeah.
And like a superhero jumpsuit. But let's make sure we pan down. And he's got multiple belts. One of them is like a seat belt for the 7 Chevy. And he's got the Back to the Future shoes that Marty McFly has that lace themselves up.
Kind of like a unsullied Game of Thrones look, but still modern. I don't know. Weird.
Yeah. We're going to stick with the NBA for a clip that our buddy Eric Zane presented us with. Greg Popovich took the mic to chastise Spurs fans. Let's take a look at that.
Excuse me for a second.
Pops on the mic.
Stop all the booing and let these guys play. It's got no class. It's not who we are. Knock off the booing.
Oh, fuck you.
I'm telling the fans to lay off Kawhi Leonard. But that's not San Antonio.
The best part, of course, is that the fans immediately boo louder.
They immediately start booing.
Yeah.
Yes. This guy has always ground my gears over the years. That's right. He's grinding my gears, guys. He has always annoyed the shit out of me.
And I don't know for our visual audience who that is at the table. I don't know which broadcast team that is. I don't know if it's radio for the visiting team, whatever. But this guy's just looking at him and he's like, "Oh, come on, fuck you." People come to sporting events; they should be allowed to boo.
Besides, the Spurs suck dick. Of course, they're gonna boo about something. You've only won 3 games this year, you old fuck.
Yeah. Well, another great basketball clip. I didn't know you were such a hoops fan, Eric. You find all the great NBA clips. So the Charlotte Hornets, LaMelo Ball has asked a question, and let's see if we can keep the trend of NBAers with potty mouths alive and see how many he manages to squeeze in here in his response.
The 3 days off, Thanksgiving tomorrow. What's your favorite Thanksgiving dish?
I mean, I got the chicken, the turkey, ham. Shit, what else I'm fucking with? Nah, that's about it. Maybe some other shit.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Okay. Yeah, the dessert. Yeah.
Okay.
My girl be making that. Be smacking for sure.
Okay. Have a good Thanksgiving. Thanks so much.
She couldn't get the mic away from him fast enough. Could she, Eric?
Yeah. And she did the follow-up question, and he said it all so fast, and he's whiter than Jason Kidd, but still not.
Whiter than Jason Kidd. Oh, sorry. I should find myself $10 there. I just did a stud show. I laughed by repeating what you said. That's my fault. I'm sorry. But yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, it's just he was great at it though. I mean, it's something. So she's thinking it's a nice light line of questioning, and he starts fucking doing that. It's fantastic.
Yeah. He's like, my favorite part is when he says, "What else am I fucking with?"
I mean, I got the chicken, the turkey, ham. Shit, what else I'm fucking with?
Shit, what else am I fucking with?
Yeah, that was like the guys from Airplane who speak jive. Shit, what else I'm fucking with?
And Leave It to Beaver's mom comes in. Excuse me, stewardess, I speak jive. Barbara Billingsley would be able to talk to LaMelo Ball right now.
Shit, what else am I fucking with? I've never heard someone talking about their food as something else they're fucking with.
Yeah, no, I don't know what they do in Charlotte, but usually I just eat my food. I don't know. It's crazy stuff.
I love this guy.
Yeah, no, I'm definitely he's definitely going to be a new search term that I look for when I'm putting together clips for who are these sports broadcasters. So the topic of Thanksgiving was just all throughout the sports world. And I love this reaction from FS1's Nick Wright, who was on Mina Kimes' show. And I love the honesty in this answer. And I think she plays along reasonably well, but I don't think she was expecting this.
Do you have any hot takes about Thanksgiving food?
It would be a rude answer, but since you have asked it, I will give it. My hottest take about Thanksgiving foods is it is the worst thing we in sports media do, which is part of our Thanksgiving shows is like, hey, wait, are you a stuffing or dressing? Pumpkin or sweet potato? I mean, like, wait, are you more of the sides? Or you know what is an overrated meat? Turkey. Nobody wants turkey. I think it is the most cliche, terrible content imaginable. So I won't engage in it, Mina Kimes.
Wow, your hottest take is that my question sucks.
And she's like, yeah, you know what? You're right. I was just probably trying to wrap up the show there with just kind of a light nothing of an answer. And he's just like, yeah, we got to do this. And I'm just going to assume, she asked him the same question last year,
That is awesome. And we've got more than one comment that say that dude reminds them of me, I guess.
Oh, so this guy, let's see, Nick. I don't have Nick's name. Oh, no, there it is. Nick Wright. Sorry. Nick Wright is the guy. So they're saying Nick Wright reminds you, or are they saying that the basketball player reminds them of you?
I think they're saying that whoever this guy is like a homeless version of me.
Well, yeah, it's he's definitely a party in the back, I mean, he's definitely ready to roll.
To his credit, I love what he says, because how often have we heard that and thought, why are they talking about this?
Yeah. No, exactly. I mean, literally, I was so excited when you sent me a clip where someone asked an NBA player the exact same question.
Right. Yes.
And it gave me the opportunity to do that. And then over the course of this weekend, for some reason, you see Mina Kimes there. She's on FS1, and I think you can see her in some other places. But I love when people do stuff like this. A Twitter user who we'll be able to identify in a moment, you'll see. He is the person to thank for digging up a clip of Mina Kimes from about 15 years ago, appearing on CNBC with some really exciting railroad talk.
Well, it sort of starts in the 1970s. At the
Same
time,
girls
there were
before,
dozens of large railroads, but the industry was basically in disarray. There was about 1/3 of the industry was either in bankruptcy or close to it. The infamous bankruptcy of Penn Central, the biggest corporate bankruptcy ever, happened.
And she's doing the thing that I think a lot of, younger commentators do. They've just read about something that in preparing, and I'm sure she did plenty of work to prepare for this appearance, but she's like, that really big thing that everybody knows about who follows the railroad industry.
No one, she's making it seem like it's common knowledge. Like we should know that, like we know about 9/11.
Right, exactly. Well, you can decide which is a bigger tragedy, that or her eyebrows. Now, in Mina Kimes' defense, this guy Todd in the Shadows is the one who posted it, and Todd posted this clip and said, she does good work, but this old clip of her on C-SPAN talking about railroad monopolies is a little like seeing the cast of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia doing Shakespeare. And she responded directly to the guy. So I wanted to take a moment to give her credit for that. She says, hair and makeup saw my The Cure pin and said, I got you. She's definitely had what I believe the ladies call a makeover since then. But the fact that I had an excuse to play an old clip of someone looking ridiculous, it just warmed my heart this holiday season there,
John weighs in with, she's been in a train, I bet.
John, I don't even know what you mean. You mean a locomotive, a subway train? Not quite sure what John's talking about. Do you have any insight on that, Eric?
No.
I don't know if I can follow that one.
I hit it by accident. It didn't even make me laugh.
Oh, well, the new thing is, let me put my glasses on and I'll see if. Oh no, who put that in the chat? Oh my gosh. Did you watch any of the Thanksgiving football games, Eric, or were you just busy eating like I was? All right, I watched
two games. I saw two, Dallas and Detroit.
Yeah. Well, so of course you watched the Lions game. Sorry for the wait. That was the one with the Dolly Parton halftime, right?
No, Dolly was with Dallas.
Oh, okay, it was with Dallas. All right, my apologies. So you didn't even get to look at 77-year-old perky tits. I'm sorry that you didn't even get that enjoyment.
I did see that. I loved it. I thought she was great. I so would have sex with her.
Yeah, I mean, just for the stories, right? I mean, and honestly, it's probably not gonna. I've definitely let's just say I've done worse. Not older, but worse. So this is after that, and that's Tony Romo on the right. Jim Nance is ready to get back into game talk. Tony's not ready.
Field is all set after the Dolly performance. We are the champions, and
she was wearing the Cowboys cheerleading outfit.
Yeah.
You saw that coming, didn't you? You said, I think she's going to go with a little cheerleading outfit tonight. And I was like, wow, it's pretty good.
What do you think we're going to see?
I mean, she looks amazing, right?
You never know what's going to happen
wonderful. Here. Who doesn't like Dolly Parton?
No, she's absolutely an American treasure.
Yeah, I mean, Eric Zane just said he'd fuck her at 77 years old. So
yeah.
But the moment that I like the most is when Nance is like, "So what do you think is going to happen? And did you see what she had on?" It's like, yeah,
the whole thing was really awkward. It was very awkward.
Yeah, I know. I don't know. Tony's probably going through something. If I had to guess and start a completely unfounded rumor. This next one's a very quick one, and funny that I tripped over my tongue when I said it. This is from the Pac-12 network, which, as our buddy Hackrite has pointed out, will cease to exist as the conference will cease to exist. But what a great way to go out with this little tumble over some words.
Be an illegal crack back block on the safety.
So, in trying to correct himself from saying crock block, he ended up saying cock block. So 5-second clip where somebody says cock block on TV. You can never send me too many of those.
Yes, it's anytime you can work that in. And then last week we had the guy who wanted to say offensive coordinator, and he said something terrible.
Boy, that was
that's a historical one. That will make this day in history at some point. But this is also very good.
Yeah, right, exactly. Well, those are our sports clips for today, which means that the only thing left, of course, is for us to go over to our Hall of Fame for this moment in broadcasting history.
Flashback.
WATB. Way back into time.
Let's find out who are these broadcast histories.
So, as is so often the case, our moment in broadcasting history is from the sports world. And it has happened in the past that we have featured a clip from the great Mike Francesa from WFAN in New York. Now he has a podcast that, let's just say, many less people listen to. And there's a lot of videos of sour shoes from the Howard Stern show calling into him as many people. But this is appropriate for this time in the calendar. I don't, not every prank call to a radio show is funny, but I think if you sell it right, you're going to make sure to end up on a show like this. So anybody wants to call into their local radio show with something like this, you will get yourself on Who Are These Broadcasters?
I feel like with the Kennedy assassination, opposed to other tragedies in this country, it gets overlooked and not really talked about so much about how sports were affected by this tragedy. And you being like an expert historian about this, do you think Jason Giambi killed JFK? I'll hang up and listen.
That's just like in really bad taste as far as I'm concerned. But go ahead.
I mean, first of all, the guy said you're an expert historian, so you should have known something was coming, Francesa. But Francesa saying that's not even funny. That's hysterical. Come on. Because if it was like WFAN and he's like, yeah, do you think Jason Giambi killed JFK? It's not funny. But he sets it up and like you can see Mike, he's like, all right, let's get ready for a serious answer about the Kennedy assassination and the role sports played in. And by the way, I've never seen proof that Jason Giambi didn't kill JFK.
We don't know. How about the fact that the guy who was calling in started to quicken his pace to deliver that line? I mean, he knew he was up against it. He had seconds before he's going to reach over, and he got just to get it all in.
Yeah, he just had to get it in. And look, prove to me that Jeremy Giambi, his brother, wasn't on the grassy knoll.
Right.
While Jason Giambi was in the book depository.
Jeremy's dead, right? Which one's dead, Jeremy or Jason?
I thought they were both alive. Now I don't know.
No, one of them's definitely dead.
Oh my gosh. Well, I don't know. Anyway, I don't know if you want to Google. I don't know if you want to Google dead Giambis.
Serves him right. He killed JFK. Fuck that guy.
Well, yeah. Well, the CIA finally got him. That's what happened. And
exactly.
I think we can now put the whole thing to bed. No more speculation. Nothing else to talk about. Well, that brings us to the end of another successful episode of Who Are These Broadcasters? I know we've missed out on some fun in the chat, and I think our record is still the $5 one, right, Eric?
Yes, and boy, I gotta scroll back.
It was way back there. There's been a lot of free chats since then.
A lot of chit chat. Oh my god. Yeah. Aha. Actually, Mongo gets it because the other two were $4.99.
I remember when Mongos came in.
Yes.
And, I appreciate that. And look, I'm going to clip this and post it on Julie Baker's Instagram because if she were willing to unleash them, I think it would be all right. But before we get to our sign off, Eric, let everyone know where they can find you.
Thank you very much, Christian. You can find me wherever you download shows, audio podcasts. Just search the Eric Zane Show podcast. I put one out every day, Monday through Friday for a couple hours. I describe it as news, nonsense, and my personal adventures. Give it a listen. And there you go. There's a number of other things I do, but I don't have enough time to explain them all.
No, we could go for like 10 more minutes if you want to
No,
talk about
no,
all the things that you
no.
do. How
Enough
often do
about
you
me.
talk about the porn you found in your dad's bedroom? Just that one time?
It might happen tomorrow. It might happen
Oh,
tomorrow.
I hope it does. So of course, for this show, you can leave us a review wherever you leave reviews. If you have a good one, we're just going to read them all. I'm going to tell you right now. They'll be read by our pal Zia Anderson, who, by the way, will also be joining us live on an upcoming show for some live reviews.
All right.
We're saving a few of them there. But remember the rules. Now for WATP, Carl says, leave a 5-star review, but shit all over the show in the chat. I would like the same 5-star review, but as I've pointed out many times every week, I'm very sensitive. Please only shit all over Eric Zane. It's easy for me to say.
Zarek Ain. Yes.
Zarek Ain.
Yeah.
But, and you know, if that leads to 3 comments on Google Podcasts that say Zarek Ain, asshole, that's fine.
That's
whatever you want to
exactly-
do.
We're shooting for that.
Just shit on Eric in the chat and in the comments and say how much you like me. And you can also leave us a voicemail. Go to whoarethese.com to find the phone number and mention that it's for WATB, and we will play them here. And as I always say, while you're over there at whoarethese.com, sign up for the Patreon, where you will get great content. All the WATP shows you can watch live while they record them, and all the bonus episodes. And there are many. Carl did an emergency episode yesterday because there was so much to talk about Stuttering John, who we don't talk about on this show. So I make sure that you get everything you can over there, and check out my personal podcast, The Blattcast, BLADTCAST. That is the YouTube channel and where you can find it, where you find your audio podcasts. And of course, on social media, I'm at Christian DMZ. Well, that seems like it's it, Eric. So let's bring up the chat. I actually remember this one, but I want to be able to read it. Thank you to Mongo for the $5. It's closing time. So remember, every mic is a hot mic, but unleash the sweater puppies, Julie Baker.